About 2 weeks ago, we heard a big thud at about 2:30 in the morning.
More like a bang.
Yeah. And if you've watched that video, you know what happened. This. So, and you also know that I had some pretty bad reaction to it. So we made the decision that we needed to get out from under that tree. Now, if you saw the video of the event that occurred, the storm that came through, you saw that at 2:30 in the morning, we had a branch drop on our RV. And then again at 4 a.m. I'm not going to recap that whole thing. That's kind of pointless. But it was a very intense night and a very intense day that followed. After some thought and looking up at the tree that was still there.
And realizing that we're in a wind tunnel, apparently. We are in Banning, California. We are between two literal mountain ranges here.
Yeah. And it's kind of a funnel. It all... Now, granted, the San Gorgonio Pass is a ways away, and that's what gets the really hard winds. But there are plenty of times when they get them here. As a matter of fact, the last couple of days, we've been having sustained winds in the 20s with gusts in the 40s. But it didn't affect us the way that one did. And not just because that one had a high gust of 78 miles an hour, but because we moved. We got ourselves out from under that tree.
Yeah. You got us out from under that tree. I was at work.
Yeah. I went up and I spoke to the manager here, and I was straightforward with her. I said, I just can't stay under that tree anymore. My anxiety won't handle it. And I asked if the end spot on this row was available. And she said it was. We're going to have to pay $55 more a month because it's an end spot, so I guess they consider it premium. However, it has nothing over it.
No trees. No bushes. No nothing.
No nothing.
And we have a much better view out the window.
The day I moved from that spot to this spot was supposed to be a very similar storm to the one that had occurred on that night.
It was predicted for starting that night at 10? At first, it was predicted at starting at 10 and lasting till 10 a.m.
And they were talking about gusts to 65 miles an hour. And the winds were going to be coming in the same direction as that storm from the west. And I didn't want to be under that tree for another one of those storms. So I made the arrangements. And on that Wednesday with Cindy at work, I moved this whole thing by myself.
And that's a lot. We're so used to doing it together that I do the inside stuff, take things down, move things around, pull the slides in. We get the animals out, all that. We just have a system, and then he does most of the outside stuff. And
it's almost muscle memory at this point. And
one of my first questions was, how are you going to back that up under the tongue of the trailer? How are you going to get it?
Yeah, because just a little side note, my backup camera doesn't work. But I did, and I hooked it up, and I moved it over, and I was able to do it without pretty much any big problems, although I did hit something with the slide when I put it out. I'm not used to being in here putting the slide out. I'm used to being outside watching for Cindy as she puts the slide out. But that all being said, we made the move. As it turns out, we didn't have to, because we ended up not getting hit with those windstorms that night. It was actually quite calm.
Yeah.
That is a situation, as I mentioned earlier, where it was hitting the San Gorgonio Pass. and not actually coming through here. But how do you put a value on your own mental health?
And I like it here. I mean, we've got a much better view. We had the view of the side of somebody else's rig at the other place,
yeah.
at the other spot, and now we have a good view of the mountains, and we're on the end, and
I'll take a picture of the actual view so you don't have to look at the sun.
But it seems to be a better spot altogether.
Yeah, there's more space in this spot for sure. And that tree has not dropped any further branches. But these last 2 days, as I mentioned, we've been going through a bit of a windstorm. And it's been 2 days. It was the entire weekend. 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts, probably up to 45. Not one little bit of anxiety. And that's simply because I didn't have to worry about anything dropping on us. Now, that is kind of the conclusion of the storm story. We also, this past week, had something done to this rig.
Some maintenance that we probably should have done before now. We've had this rig for
4.5 years.
4.5 years.
And there was a maintenance thing that we never did. We actually talked about it probably 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And haven't done it. And for the last 2.5 years, I've been using the same formula to put in the black tank. And it came from a company called Kleen Tank. There'll actually be a link to their website in the description. And it has done us very well. We get no smell. We don't have any problems flushing our tanks. But this past week, we actually had the company come out and perform their service on our tanks. And in a little bit, I'm going to tell you about how they also serviced our water heater and the results of that. But I'm going to put up on the screen now, if anybody's a little squeamish about things, this is not something that came out of the black tank. This is what came out of our gray tank, and this is just a small sample of it. They did a complete high-pressure flush of all three of our tanks. We have 2 gray tanks and a black tank. And to say that
it was gross.
Yeah. It's probably really the understatement of the millennium.
I mean, you never see those things. You see what comes out. You see what you're able to flush out, but you don't see what a high pressure can bring out. And
I was told by the guy who did the service, that is because I leave my gray tanks open. We no longer leave our gray tanks open. I don't want that stuff growing back. As a matter of fact, the guy across the street from me now no longer leaves his gray tanks open because I showed him the picture I'm showing you. And he don't want that either.
So apparently things, even though you leave the gray tank open and as you use water, take a shower, use the sink, all that flows out, but some things do stay, like, I guess it's like sediment.
Yeah.
Things that go down, even though it's just, you're going to get in a kitchen sink, you're going to get some food down the sink, even if you try not to.
What you saw in that picture, and I'll put it up again, what you see in this picture is mold. And that's the result of some small food particles getting down there. Anything. It just grabs on, and that's how you end up with sewer gnats also. Because the sewer gnats love to put their eggs in that mold. Oh. No longer going to be a problem. Then he came around. Now, wait, before I say this, in 2021, when we first got this rig, I was 100% sure that we didn't have a water heater that required an anode rod. And I can tell you that if you have a plastic nut, you don't have an anode rod. If you have a metal nut, you do. Now, to look at the nut, and this was my fault, I didn't actually check it. But to look at that nut, I was sure it was plastic. So I didn't think a thing about anode rods. Well, when this gentleman came and was also going to flush the water heater, because if you've been watching the channel for any period of time, you know we had a big problem with calcium deposits, and I wanted to get any calcium that was in the water heater flushed out. I could have done it myself, but he was here anyway. He proceeded to pull out my anode rod. That was, for all intents and purposes, a toothpick. And there's a picture of that up on the screen. I do have an anode rod. Well, I do now, because he put a new one in. Yeah, I thought I didn't have an anode rod, and as it turns out, we do. So, that's all fixed now. And you can see in the picture of the anode rod all of the calcium deposit that he also flushed out of there. But I highly recommend their service. It's about $300, and I definitely don't think you're going to regret it. I think you'll say, like we did, that it was $300 well spent.
And this is a company that's nationwide.
Yes.
And we were able, Felix called that morning and got a call back. He was going to make an appointment for him to come out sometime. And he actually had an opening that afternoon. So
yeah, and I'm sure that was just pure luck.
Yeah.
And he happened. This guy services the entirety of Southern California. So I mean, he lives in Long Beach, which is a pretty good distance away, and he happened to be doing a service in Palm Springs,
which is just down the highway from
a half hour from here. And he said, "Yeah, I'm finishing up that service. I can get over there by 1."
It was awesome. And we got a bottle of their, what do you call it? Solution that Felix makes ours out of their recipe.
I won't have to make it for a while.
We got a bottle of that. We got the new anode rod. We got the water heater done. And our sensors work
perfectly.
The gray and black tank sensors work. They've not been reliable. As anybody who has an RV knows, they don't stay reliable. But for now, they're working. And it was worth it. It's good to know that we had those issues going on, especially in the gray tank and the water heater, but now they're all taken care of. So, and I had a shower this afternoon and never had a problem with any hot water. So.
Oh, yeah, we are definitely getting more hot water. But hey, you know what they say? Happy black tank, happy life. They don't say that, do they?
It can be said.
Okay. Until next week, I'm Felix.
I'm Cindy.
We are the Roaming Gomes. Stay safe out there.